You know, we talk a lot on this show about the problems of bipartisanship. In fact, we've already talked about it probably on this episode about how too often bipartisanship, which gets celebrated as this big, wonderful thing in Washington, D.C., and in pundit circles and so on, actually means that leaders of two parties get together and decide what's good for the country without consulting the voters. It's kind of an elite thing that goes on. And if there's anything that's good that to come out of the political anarchy of the last few months, and I'm not sure there is, but if there's anything that good that's come out of it, is kind of broken that bipartisan stranglehold that you used to see where, quote unquote, everybody agrees that Social Security is going broke when it's completely not. Everybody agrees that Medicare for all can't be done when it completely can. So it's good to see that broken down. So in general, I guess you would say I am not a big fan of bipartisanship, but there are some times when bipartisanship can actually be something good. Here's an example. Donald Trump campaigned on the utter lie that voter fraud, people voting fraudulently, is a real thing that affects elections. Totally false. Studies have proven, I think one study looked for fake voting and found maybe 14 examples out of billions and billions of votes. So utterly fraudulent that this goes on. Trump campaigned on it. Some Republican politicians like Chris Kobach have been using it to disenfranchise voters, especially voters of color, by pretending that there's voter fraud, preventing these voters from voting. That's vote stealing, that's vote suppression, that's a war on democracy. Now, Trump and Kobach want to ratchet it up to another level. Trump has appointed Chris Kobach to lead a commission to study voter fraud. They've demanded data from all the states to back up their phony study. Bipartisanship is coming to the rescue. 44 states and the District of Columbia have refused to supply them with some or all of the information they have requested. And the Republican conservative Secretary of State of Mississippi, Delbert Hosemann, when he was asked about it, said, and I quote, "They can go jump in the Gulf of Mexico, and Mississippi is a great state to launch from." This was a couple days before the 4th. He added, "Mississippi residents should celebrate Independence Day and our state's right to protect the privacy of our citizens by conducting our own electoral processes." Now, for all I know, Hosemann also engages in Republican-style voter suppression, but be that as it may, the conservative desire to protect our privacy rights dovetails very nicely with the progressive desire to protect our privacy rights and to keep us safe from the intrusion of intelligence agencies and others. There are ways in which we can work with our Republican friends and colleagues, our libertarian, our conservative friends and colleagues. Individual rights is one of those areas, and this is an example of how it can be done.